Good morning. Today is Sunday, May 28th, I believe, 2024. We're on the second book of Tanya. We finished the first book. Tanya really we refer to that anatomy and physiology of God. So if book number 1, 53 chapters, was anatomy, now we're in a much thinner book, only 12 chapters comparing to 53 in the first book, and that's physiology. In the first book, it was described to us by the Rabbi Shneir Zalman of Liadi, and the book, of course, is by Chaim Miller. It was described to them method, step by step, the anatomy of God, soul, divine soul, animal soul, interaction. And now Tanya takes a more major, more macro approach. It begins to explain how that transformation from infinity to finite, from the divine world to this world. It's very difficult for a human mind, if ever possible, to understand transition from infinity to finite, from divine to this world. And actual transition is continual, but it's not clear. So Tanya talks about God's chapter 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 chapters of the second book of Tanya, talks about God's continual creation. So now we'll talk about physiology of God. How does God interact? And basically, the position is that the God is continuous. Not this is us, this is non-duality of God. In duality of God, the previous methods as humanity was evolving, actually was, or here's God and this is us. And God, yes, He interacts with us to greater or lesser degree, but it's just we and God. Well, Tanya takes a position that, and that's what Maimonides, Rambam, differed with Kabbalists a little bit. It's a famous debates between the philosophies of Maimonides and Kabbalists, the degree of interaction, the unity of God with universe, with us. So the Tanya position, Kabbalistic position, would be that God is continuously present, and then it becomes philosophical questions, same question that Aristotle and Plato and other philosophers, Greek, Roman philosophers, ancient philosophers, asking, are we for real? Are we for real? I mean, are we like the movie Matrix? You remember the movie Matrix? I love the movie Matrix. Where it's just appearance. It's just appearance. The soul belongs elsewhere. This is just appearance. Essentially, we are in a matrix. We're in a matrix but we're asking, are we real? What we do, I mean, I'm speaking right now. Who is moving my lips? It's all done by God, or am I doing by the free choice God gave me? That philosophical debate is ongoing, has been going on and continues to go. So, example Tanya brings in is the splitting of the sea. When Jews exited Egypt, when they're splitting the sea, the east wind blew and the water moved, and on both sides there was a walls of water, and the Jews went in between. So how is water was standing? Was it Midrash saying was frozen? Was it the wind? If the wind was blowing the water, what held it from the other side? The fluid doesn't have the solid, like a brick, properties. Something has to hold, freeze the water, otherwise it would flow away. I mean, if I'm pushing the water, it goes away. It doesn't become the wall. It just keeps on going. Of course, you think about tsunami in the ocean. There's a huge wall of water. If you're standing on one side of the wall moves away from you. It's not steady. So how did God hold it on two sides? That's just details of the super analysis. But fundamentally, if the wind will stop, the water will just fall. Same thing with the universe. The universe exists because God continuously recreated the air of breath of Hashem, of God. That's what we are. The matter evolves from God, and it is also part of God. The breath living my mouth, the breath, the particles of air coming from my mouth, they leave me. But with God, what He speaks is also part of Him. His speech, the speaker and the spoken to, is one. That is what book number 1 was talking about. So now we are held by being united with God. And also then Tanya continues into how exactly that is happening, how that continuous recreation, continuous recreation. It's like television sets, old TVs, when they just continue scanning, it looks like a picture, but it's really continuous change of pixels. Every second, just every fraction of a second, it just, for naked eye, it looks like it's a picture, but it actually just keeps, that's us. We're a picture being recreated continuously. You've got to stop for a second, everything goes to null and void. Something comes from nothing. What is that nothing? That's nothing is also part of God, but it's beyond material expression that we understand, beyond the understanding. But to feel that, to experience, to taste that, that's what Torah is giving. Torah we have today, we discussed before. Remember we made a picture of the Torah is a divine on the heavens and also earthly Torah here. And when God created Torah conceptually, esoterically, divinely, it evolved, it created itself also in this world. So God created the entire universe with the 22 letters, Hebrew letters, alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and so forth. These letters floating in the realms of divinity became also evolved, moved into the printed text. So when you're looking in the Torah, when you're reading the Torah, you're connecting yourself from the mechanically printed ink into actual divinity, and that is how you unite yourself with the divine. That's what makes the Torah divine. Not just it's just a historical book. The document talks about events of the past, but it actually the powers to heal, powers to change, powers to decide, and it's a manual for life from the practical standpoint and also from the esoteric standpoint. The way Kabbalah describes, if you imagine the circle, and you put 22 letters around the circle, and you connect Aleph with the first letter of alphabet to the last, then second to the one before. And you do all the permeations, and you can change in permeation, substituting letters. Every time you make a permeation, the power of the letters weakens a little bit. But with that creation, letters all table, dog, cat, sky, pen, hand, person, all these words that I just said are letters that were created in a divine image, in a divine will first, and then express itself into the physical being. So what we see around us, stones, skies, rivers, oceans, organic and non-organic matters, essentially is a permeation of these letters that exist in this dynamic, continuously refreshing motion. It's a little bit of a science fiction. It's a little bit of a matrix revisited. Maybe it's a Matrix series number, whatever, number 5 or number 6. That presentation of universe. Well, that's the beginning of the practical Tanya, first 3 chapters we just covered. I hope you enjoyed it. Today is, by the way, the Lag BaOmer. What's Lag BaOmer? I just want to mention briefly. On Lag BaOmer, we're happy, we celebrate. The previous 32 days were somber because during those 32 days, 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva is a sage, 3rd generation Tanya, about 2,000 years ago. He had 24,000 students. He put all his effort. He loved the Torah. He loved to study Torah, and he was very close to God. And he put all his knowledge, a lot of knowledge, into 24,000 of his students. And they died. Now, why did they die? That's a different subject. It seems like unfair, but there is a point to that. There was a lack of respect. They knew Torah a lot. They're very, very good scholars. And yet they're missing very important thing. They're missing kavod and respect for each other. We see that, unfortunately, in today's society. A lot of knowledge, a lot of Torah knowledge, but very little midot, very little feelings for another human being, to see the person in pain and not to reach out to. We have that trend today, unfortunately. We hope it will change. So they died. On the 33rd day, Lag BaOmer, the dying stopped. And that's what celebrate. 5 students remained. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Eliezer, and 5 famous rabbis. So Rabbi Akiva said, and this is a lesson for us in life today, he lost 24,000 students. Most people would disparage and say, it's all over for me. the work of my life has finished. But he had 5 students. So he didn't give up. He imparted his knowledge, readdressed the knowledge in these 5 people. And today's Talmud, Gemara, Mishnah, Gemara, essentially the work that was breathed to it by the 5 students. And that's a lesson to us. You can lose a lot. You can lose a lot in life. We all made mistakes. I made mine. You made yours. Sometimes with a sequence of mistakes, one worse than others. And the one way to look back into it and sit sad and say, my life is over. Nothing can be done. And the other one, to take the hints from the examples from the like BaOmer from Rabbi Akiva. I can make it. I'll take the pieces, the broken pieces of my life, and I put them together, and I'll recreate it. I will plant this tree, a remnant of the tree, and it will grow back stronger than ever. And that's a message for us, not to stay sad, but to continue towards like BaOmer, towards happy days. And hopefully, Mizrat Hashem, with God's help, will bring it to you. Will bring to anyone who looks in this recording with the practical questions. How can it help my life today? I'm very sad. I'm very hurt. I'm very mistaken, misunderstood, unappreciated, whatever people think about it. Hurt by friends, abandoned by family, neglected by children or parents, or whatever that situation can be that's difficult in your life. And you'll take in this example and you combine it with Tanya's message of positivity, and you will find the new energy that will not only bring you new dimensions and new salvations, but also reconstruct the past, correct the mistakes of the past, and turn the bad things in the past into the positive, actually, believe it or not. And for that, there is 2 methods to do it. And that method we'll discuss tomorrow, how to physically achieve that, how to cross that threshold of the desperations into positivity. Not easy, but it's possible. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a great day. And Chag Sameach, Lag BaOmer. Happy day.